Hi, SM fans across the globe, wherever you might be watching me. I'm here to discuss about the issue and the indecisiveness of the so-called Yoruba agitators or Yoruba nation agitators. They are never serious. They are just mere tribal bigots who are seeking for relevance and, of course, opportunity to cash out in the Nigerian government. How can you be an agitator and you are, of course, romancing with the government of the day? It is quite unfortunate that the Yorubas have not decided, of course, to define their future, to define their posterity. They are comfortable with the position where Nigeria is today. Majorly the political supposed elite within the southwestern or supposed to do the one nation. They are not decisive. They are not ready for any independence. They prefer, of course, the porridge to their own freedom, to their the emancipation of the entire race, and of course their ancestral home. It is quite sad, but that is the reality. We've seen of more in recent times how the agitation for the Yoruba nation died down almost as dodo. Nobody is talking about it. If you are truly an agitator, the interest and the driving force should be the independence of the European nation. But that we are not seeing. Some are saying we are comfortable with the Tinubu's administration. I've been a Yoruba man because he's the president. It doesn't matter. The Yoruba nation can go to hell, according to some of them, but that is quite unfortunate. If you're an agitator, if you understand what that means and what freedom means for your people, if you have a shared core value within the southwestern region, you should, of course, protect the region and her people. But do you see that happening? Even the governors and the Yoruba political exposed persons are just cashing out or playing games with their own people, and that is quite unfortunate. See what the Fulanese has done to most of the regions or states that you can't freely walk in those regions without being afraid of being arrested or apprehended or kidnapped or even killed. Of most recent, you saw what happened to most of the Obas from a Ekiti state and the neighboring states. Unfortunately, they lost the lives of these Obas, were killed by the supposed or alleged Fulani militias, who, of course, claimed that the agreement between them was not kept. But that notwithstanding, you can see the way the Yorubas reacted. I never saw a national protest regarding that. If you are calling for a nation, you must count, sit down and count the cost. Of course, you shouldn't use it as a political tool to decide how your political aspirations or, of course, interests will be favored. And once that is done, you dump whatever, of course, agitation or program you have for the Yorubas agitation. Well, I will submit that the Yorubas are not ready for the independent state of the Oduduwa nation or the Yoruba nation. Why? Because my reasons are you have not fought war, you have not made decisive, of course, move or impression about your belief. You are not even convinced about, of course, what you are going for or what you stood for, what you represent. But that is not to say that the Yorubas do not have the right to independent. They do, but then the approach to issues presupposes that they are not prepared, never prepared, and possibly might not be prepared, fortunately, willing and comfortable with the Nigerian configuration. But coming, of course, from the revelation of one of the illustrious sons, most respected, very reverend Father, of course, Professor Anthony Akinwale, made a very frantic submission and move about the Yoruba of the state of the nation, Nigeria, which is quite acceptable by any responsible individual or right thinking or rational thinking man that the Yoruba of the nation Nigeria is never a nation. but a mere geographical expression which affirms the position of the late sage Awolowo, which described Nigeria as a mere contraption or geographical expression, which is right, because for you to have a nation, you must have a shared core values, what you represent, what you stand for, what does the Yoruba nation stands for, and how do they go after whatever the aspirations or the intentions of the Yoruba. For the Yorubas, the less privileged ones, of those who are not within the corridor of power, they are fed up with the Nigerian system, but they have lost their voice because of the syndrome, Baba Sope syndrome, which overshadows the opinions and the interests of the popularity of the population's majority of the population of the Yoruba race. That is not the case with the Biafrans agitators because there is nothing like Baba Sope syndrome in the eastern region because they practice what is called republican in nature, and they decide, not just a single individual can decide for them, but the pains and the cog on the wheel of the Yoruba nation actualization is that they practice the Babatsope syndrome, which once the somebody who has the money, who can put food on the table, speaks up, of course, every other person will have to bow and say, on your mandate we stand. That is not how a system should be built. There should be liberality, and of course, each individual of group of persons should be allowed to participate and contribute, of course, to the development of the Yoruba nation or race as a whole. But whatever happens, let me have your reactions regarding this. My opinion is that they are not ready and prepared for the emancipation of the Yoruba race and the preservation of their cultural heritage. Unfortunately, most of the lands of the regions of the Yoruba or the western region has been preoccupied by the Fulanese, okay, citing in what happened in 1804, where the Ofonja preferred an alliance, of course, with the Fulanese against her own people, against his own people. He brought them to fight and intimidate his own people rather than finding a way to resolve their differences or political interests, harmonize it in the to favor all asunder. He went and invited an enemy, which unfortunately ended up killing him, and today have occupied his dynasty. It's quite unfortunate, but these are histories you could refer to, and this is also happening. The alliance with the Fulanese, or supposed enemies, have not ended, of course, but unfortunately has been extended and consolidated from what we are seeing in the dispensation of the Tinubu's government. Of course, he is more romancing, of course, the Fulanese to get what he needs, of which eventually had it. But then, how far or better has the Yoruba people fared? Everybody is complaining. Everybody is at disarray. People are not happy of whatever is happening, including the Yorubas are now causing the Jagaban or the Tinubu, the president of Nigeria. Of course, chanting a Bimpami, we are hungry and hungered in less than 7 months in office. What do you say? Do you prefer to remain a slave, or do you prefer to break out of the chains and shackles of agony forced on humanity? And of course, on the Yoruba race, which are not an exception of whatever is happening, the troubles in Nigeria. Well, let me leave it with this provoking thought and have your own opinion. You have right to express yourself via the comment section, and let's continue the interaction. If you are in support of what my position stands, well, let's have it. If you are opposing that, well, with your constructive constructivism, let's know how to move humanity better than we met them. But we must realize that nobody can give you freedom. Freedom is contended, freedom is fought for. But if you are expecting freedom to be given to you, you will end up becoming a perpetual slave, living in bondage. Part 7. Remember, bless, I remain Chigoze Ndibo, a national analyst, and of course, bringing you the interesting moments here in Cowwave TV. Remember, bless, and have free, a hitch-free week ahead of us. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. If you've not done so, you can also support us to the super chat. Thank you so much, and remember blessed until we come your way in subsequent edition. Bye for now.